Because this isn't just about LinkedIn, right? This is about networking, saying the right thing, getting the referral to get more business and grow our agencies. And really just what I'm showing you here is just potentially using LinkedIn, right, to get into more of those conversations.
So my personal LinkedIn is pretty dialed in, and I've got about 8,000 something followers. But my business LinkedIn has 40. Where should I launch from?
I would say by far your personal.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's what's going to get you activity, meetings, right? Like nobody books a meeting with Hummingbird, right? They want to chat with me, right? Or somebody. The connection message, right? That's the first message they're going to see. Most of the time when people send me a connection message, it's blank. It doesn't say anything. The results where we're seeing enough is actually just this second message. We're seeing enough appointments coming right here. And I mean this very humbly. Like I was the champion at getting leads, right? And what it was is I repeated the same thing at the end of every meeting. Even the friends that I, made through it, they're like, man, you brainwashed me. Every time I see a plumber or every time I see a t-shirt print shop, I think of you. So I think that consistency of like what we do, who we knock it out of the park for, right, makes them want to give us referrals. A lot of it is just the planning and the process and getting into the meeting, the expectations of the meeting, truly networking, trying to bring them value if you can. You can't give everybody referrals and they're not all going to give us referrals.
For everybody here, we have our guest speaker. Let me actually highlight him along with his deck so we can see his face a little bit better. So we've got Jesse Walter from Hummingbird Software, and he's one of our partners with that company, and but at the same time he has been building out Hummingbird, which is a LinkedIn automation and outreach software. And we've talked about some different softwares that do these types of things, and you were showing it to me, and I really like the feature set and all that. But he'll talk a little bit about the software and how that works and how you might be able to use it. But I think Jesse's main plan today is make sure you walk away with a lot of value, whether you use software or not. If you're doing LinkedIn outreach, you're building up your LinkedIn, you're definitely going to want to know a lot of this information so you can be successful while doing it. So without further ado, Jesse, I'll let you take it away, man.
Awesome. Thank you, Michael. Hey, thank you guys. My goal is just to bring you as much value as I can. What we've been seeing with LinkedIn, right, what we want is activity and conversations and just help everybody get more customers. So I've also owned an agency. I've white labeled as well. So, I've done the cold email, the cold calling, the filling out website forms using LinkedIn. And I think that's probably all of our biggest challenge is just new customer acquisition. So that's kind of where I'm coming from. Hopefully you guys see, some new angles and some new thoughts and ways to approach it. So I'll share kind of my successes. I did a lot of failing with LinkedIn to figure it out and now to more consistently book networking calls and just networking meetings. But who's using LinkedIn right now? I'd love to hear who's using it. One.
Yeah, I saw some raised hands. So Leanne, Rebecca, Dominique.
And then of any of you, who's using Sales Navigator? Are any of you also using Sales Nav? Okay, we're going to touch on Sales Nav. You'll love that. That really helps you find your ideal prospects. Um, and one question I have for everybody, and maybe you guys could just jump in and talk. What leads are working the best for you guys today? Like, is it referral? Is it networking at BNIs and chamber events? Is it cold email? Would you guys kind of share what's working for you guys the best, or if you're just hunting?
Hi, Jesse. This is Dominique. I found so far for me, what's been working really well is the referrals and networking. as far as LinkedIn is concerned. So if I've met someone in person or I've been connected to someone or even just someone that has been like the few people, away from me that I connect with, is how I've been using it, and people have been certainly I get a lot of solicitations on LinkedIn.
Yes.
And then of course, just referrals. People will say, "Hi, so and so referred me to you."
Amazing. So you're actually getting meetings from LinkedIn and moving it off LinkedIn.
Yeah, if they're really strongly interested, it's either I'm reaching out to them, based on us already being connected, or they're reaching out to me, based on a post or something like that. But I have not, and I know you're going to go into this, but I have not done the automated side of reaching out to cold people or things like that. I have not done that.
Okay. And yeah, and just to share, please jump in and share your experiences with what you've been doing. Anybody that's been on LinkedIn, like jump in for the entire group. Most of today is actually not going to be sharing about the software and the automation. It's more just about LinkedIn and using LinkedIn and finding value. And then it's kind of, the automation might help you a little bit.
Okay.
So, traditional networking, I'll jump to number 2. So this is just the agenda for today. One is networking referral leads versus other leads. I will share my best leads in my career. I've been in digital marketing and advertising for almost 20 years. Built my first e-commerce store in 97. So I've just kind of been around the space for a long time. And by far my best leads and referrals or my best leads and customers have come from referrals. I'm introverted, so I was always looking for that cold email that just turns straight into a sales pitch and they sign up on the first call, right? So I was always hunting for that, and it really kicked in that um, networking, getting to know people, and the referrals we get from that is what really has built my business the most and allowed me to do more billing. One book I do want to share. I do have a couple books to share. If you've heard of BNI, whether you join or not, it's giver's gain. So I'll kind of talk about the approach that I use when I jump into a little networking meeting. You guys might have even better styles to share with everybody, but I have one that I really enjoy. And then I'm going to jump into LinkedIn networking at scale, right? So the best way to look at LinkedIn is, we go to networking events. We go to a BNI event, we got to jump in the car, we invest time, we've got to pay for the lunch or the meal, right? And then we hope we have that good conversation. But if we have that good conversation, we know, right, they're either going to, request some more information for themselves or have a referral from us. So all LinkedIn, what we really want to get out of it for ourselves and for our business is to get into more of those calls with less work. So what I want to jump into here is targeting ideal prospects. So like picture going to an event and the whole room is everybody you want to talk to. And you have 10 minutes, right, to chat with each of them. That's kind of what you could build within LinkedIn if you're using Sales Navigator and just kind of, understand the maneuvering. So this is a little bit of an advertisement from LinkedIn. They do not send me or that company any money, but they have a product called Sales Navigator. Sales Navigator, excuse me, is about $99 per month. The first month is free. So at the least for you guys, what I would do is get comfortable, watch some Sales Nav videos if you never have, and take advantage of it for a month. So inside of Sales Navigator, go to the homepage. There's a lead filters. This is something that we cannot do inside of LinkedIn without Sales Nav. So there's all of these different ways that we can start searching for leads, right? Current company. So that doesn't necessarily apply to us, right? With our businesses of digital marketing. But if you want to target somebody that works at Google, or if you want to target somebody that works, at a large insurance company, whatever. But company headcount. this one can be really relevant to us, but you also want to be creative. So unfortunately, LinkedIn Sales Nav doesn't allow to search by sales volume of the business. They only allow by company headcount. And, we do know from the education from that company that generally companies with 5 or more employees, right, they have bigger budgets for advertising. But that being said, sometimes self-employed people and those smaller businesses are very well networked. And those are the people we want to network with for referrals, right? So on the LinkedIn targeting, as we go through this, think I want to get straight to a networking call where they can be a potential customer and be a referral partner, or if I just want to go after the sell, right? That part's very important. So here I'll say, I want to target companies with 11 to 50 employees, 51 to 200, 200 to 500. And then there are several ways to do this as well. Company type, you can also choose by company types, whether it's public, private. You can remove what you don't want to work with, where the company headquarter location is. So just kind of keep that one in mind if you only want geographically based headquarters. Functions, so their actual function within the business. As you go through current job titles, seniority level, and function, you really need to play around with it because there's a lot of overlapping, but it's pretty self-explanatory. So, I want maybe people in marketing. And you guys have seen this before. Like, I only want to talk to marketing directors, CMOs, because if they have a marketing director or a CMO, right, they have a marketing budget. Or we can go to like seniority level. This is the one that I personally like the best. So I'm going to give you my personal sauce for getting into a lot of conversations. I like talking to owner partners, co-founders, founders. That's just kind of what I enjoy more, is talking to the business owner. Going to Panera Bread, having a cup of coffee, jumping into Zoom, because that's the goal, right? We want to move them from LinkedIn into either a Zoom like this or into an in-person meeting. Somebody has a question.
Here, Fat.
Hey there. Yes, quick question. So with the LinkedIn navigator, what are your thoughts about the different types of like niches? So, for example, if I'm serving the home service sector, I kind of have this preconceived notion that I'm probably not going to find them on LinkedIn. So I'm just curious if you have any thoughts on that.
Yeah, so home service sector
Like
is,
roofers,
is
plumbers.
mi-
Yeah. Okay.
so yeah, you would definitely want to target national. And I would actually use this keyword search, which I'll jump into a little bit, because I have done testing in the service industry. So I love your question. I don't know that I have the best answer. What my belief is, we want activity, right? Like, this isn't mine. I actually learned this from an insurance agent client that I have, and it's in their business model. They just want activity. They just want conversations, because that turns into referrals, and that turns into business, and they turn into customers. Now, they do sell a business to consumer product, right? So whoever they talk to is a customer. But I do really like the networking, and I'll share my pitch as well. Um, that usually gets me more referrals, right? That'll help get you more referrals to those service industry people. Did that kind of answer your question a little bit?
Yes, thanks.
Okay. Yeah, that was a good question. So I like to target um, seniority levels, right? I'm just going to kind of build one right here, because I want to get your wheels turning as well for the different types of targeting you could do. Because that is one thing that I spent maybe 6 months struggling with, and then realizing that where I ended is definitely not where I started when it came to targeting. Then there's geography. So I've also tested national, state, local. I love local. It's very easy to connect with people. Your connection rate goes up tremendously. You can meet with these people in person, right? And then you also get referrals out of state. So one of the things I like to do I'm in Southern California. I'm on the border of like San Bernardino, Los Angeles. So I'll just pick, Los Angeles and San Bernardino usually. Michael actually has had experience where he'll do campaigns targeting cities. So you could even target cities to make that connection request even more personal to get it at a higher rate, and we'll talk about that. But overall, I've seen more success locally, regardless of who you're targeting. Then you can choose industries, right? This is okay. I would rather use the keyword search. So when you start searching for, if any of you are looking for like med spas or, home service companies, roofers, plumbers, electricians. Um, and would you guys mind sharing what your niches are real quick? Just talk them out loud so that maybe I can,
Student housing and property managers
mm,
to boost occupancy.
yeah, property managers on here is a good one to connect with. And you said student housing?
Yeah. Like apartments, student housing, low income.
Yeah, you may even want to connect with like a certain job description inside of junior colleges, universities, potentially. That would be fun to kind of play around with the targeting on here. But property managers, definitely easy to target here. But then, you may even want to just kind of supercharge your networking, right? If you went to a certain school, if you went, you graduated from somewhere prestigious, not like me, but, you went to like USC or UCLA, you can put your school here and then just target other alums from there, which is kind of cool. And then connections, you always want to send second degree connections. This is always very important. Never, first degree is obviously the people you're already connected with. Second degree, you have some people in common, so that increases the connection rate. You don't want to do third because, when you start getting too many denied connections, that's not great for your LinkedIn account. And then right here, people you've interacted with, you want to remove people that you've already messaged, right? You don't want to accidentally send them an invite. So there's all of these like little filters that you can play around with inside Sales Navigator, and that list pops up over here. So I'll do one example as well, and it's still too big. This has 160,000 people. I like to get these lists down to about 1,000 to 2,000 at a time. So I'll keep narrowing down the targeting to, oh, go ahead. You have a question?
Yeah. Do you have LinkedIn Pro or the free version? Does it make a difference?
Yeah, I've upgraded mine. I don't believe it makes a big difference in this. It does. I mean, some people do like to see it. Um, I personally, when I connect with people, don't care. I don't look at it. So I don't know if that's just really good LinkedIn marketing for us to buy more. But like, in a real day to day, I don't know. Do you guys look at it and care? I don't. Right. I just kind of look at who they are, what they do.
I never saw an advantage when I had it.
Got it. Yeah. Yeah. I don't accept or not accept someone's connection or a meeting with or without it personally. And then there's the search up here. I could actually send you guys a sheet if this keyword search is important to you guys. And actually, I'll just send it out after. It has all of the different rules. So we'll type in plumbing. So now I narrowed down to 2,000, right? So we could see owner, president, owner, company owner. See, so, construction's in here. So it's actually taking my company headcount of 11 through 200. It's using my seniority level of owner. My geography is the entire United States right now. And these are second degree connections. So the list that popped up for me personally is actually pretty good. Go ahead.
Quick question. Is there a way I don't think there is, but I figured I'd ask. Is there a way to see, like, how active or when the last time that user was active on LinkedIn?
Okay. So no and yes. No with, and again, I don't want to make this a hummingbird sales presentation, but I'll touch on it in the end. One plugin for Hummingbird with the AI does include that. Another thing about LinkedIn, most people are lurkers. Only 4% of people on LinkedIn actually post. So as you ask that, another thing you guys should be doing if you don't like people's posts that are relevant, right? That make you look like you might see a post that's talking about marketing, like that, because then people will associate you with the things that you're liking and the things that you're commenting on. Um, but what was your question again?
If you can see how active
Oh,
the user is on LinkedIn.
no. Unless they just added it, no, there's not. We can't tell, correct, if David Clement right here logged in 2 years ago or logged in a month ago, unless we actually click on his profile and see, right, his activity, if he's actually posted something or posted on somebody else's. So it's very manual and very clunky. Yeah, great question. Excuse me. So then once you pull your ideal list, this is where you want to spend a lot of time. This is where you want to play around. This is where you want to test. Maybe you do one list or you do 4 lists and you're kind of experimenting with that. Then you can come in here, send connection requests, take a look, at their profiles and message them. So the part where Sales Navigator is a bit clunky, it's amazing for finding your ideal prospects, which is a combination of your potential client, but then people that you just want to network locally. Um, so I'll touch on this. So I go through this, I chat with someone, my personality type, I love to listen to other people. So if I'm going into a 10-minute meeting, I'm the guy that asks questions so they talk for 9. Right, and then at the end, they say, "Oh, hey, man, you didn't even talk, and we're ending in a minute." And, I'll give my little spiel of what I do. Because from the book, Giver's Gain, you really do wanna go into these meetings, hopefully being able to reciprocate and give them a referral back, right? So I enjoy learning about their path, their journey, their business, and then maybe having a referral for them. And, at the end, sharing what I do. So if I was, to use your example of a service industry, "Oh, hey, Jess, we only have a minute. What do you do?" Well, I help businesses grow faster. Businesses are struggling trying to figure out what to do or where to start when it comes to marketing. And, if you happen to know any service industries like plumbers, roofers, electricians, I really knock it out of the park for them. That's it. That's all I say. Right. So that presentation I've probably said thousands of times. Same thing with, right, if it was property managers, I kind of let people know the niche that I knock it out of the park. Then they start thinking like, oh, hey man, I know 2 property managers or hey, I know 2 roofers. So when I meet with people, I'm generally getting, right, you'll get a referral out of a lot of these networking events. So I think a lot of it is just the planning and the process and getting into the meeting, the expectations of the meeting, truly networking, trying to bring them value if you can. You can't give everybody referrals and they're not all going to give us referrals, but then saying that right thing to trigger for them if they know somebody, I think all of those pieces together combined are very important. So I hope that's kind of helpful. Any questions? And I'm going to jump into messaging.
We got some hands raised. We got Ty and Jimmy. Ty will go for it.
Awesome.
The book that you're mentioning, are you saying Giver's Gain? Gain?
Givers Gain, Gain. Yes, sir.
And who's the author?
Ivan Meisner, Ivanmisner. He's the founder of BNI.
Thank you.
I literally just did my first BNI meeting yesterday. I'd never heard of it until last week when the gal spoke to us about it.
That's all. How'd you like it?
Felt great. Felt like a great group of people. I'm interested.
I'll tell you, I've been in BNI, I've been in team, I've been members of chambers, I've even been president of my chapter. And I will share what we stand up. I This was years ago. I was the and I mean this very humbly, like I was the champion at getting leads, right? And what it was is I repeated the same thing at the end of every meeting. It was even the friends that I, made through it, they're like, "Man, you brainwashed me." Every time I see a plumber or every time I see a t-shirt print shop, I think of you. So I think that consistency of what we do, who we knock it out of the park for, right, makes them want to give us referrals. So And I'll even show you guys that little script, share that little script that I use. Because this isn't just about LinkedIn, right? This is about networking, saying the right thing, getting the referral to get more business and grow our agencies. And really just what I'm showing you here is just potentially using LinkedIn, right, to get into more of those conversations. So yeah, I just want to be mindful. There's about 10 minutes. I'm going to jump into 5. We're done with targeting. So that was kind of going through Sales Nav. Remember, guys, you have a month for free there. Is messaging. Messaging so crucial, right? From the message we send on LinkedIn to the message we say in the referral meeting. But this is more about like what to say on LinkedIn. So I'll send this to everybody. Michael, I could send this to you. It's just basically different ideas and different things you can say throughout it. Kind of compares to cold email, right? I don't know if I've had this discussion with you, Michael, or other people, but like 5 years ago, cold email worked great, right? I think the average maybe 200. Maybe you get a lead, right? You send 200. Now you've got to send like 10,000 for one lead. It's a lot tougher, unless you're super ultra niched. LinkedIn, there's still opportunities. So this will give you examples, and if you do sign up for Hummingbird, we'll spend more time on setting it up. But if you don't, you do it manually, this will, give you a lot of ideas. The connection message, right? That's the first message they're going to see. Most of the time when people send me a connection message, it's blank. It doesn't say anything. So it doesn't say, hey, we have connections in common. It doesn't say, oh, hey, man, we're both through Southern California. Or it doesn't say, hey, we're both in marketing, right? Because that's even another niche that I've tested out is other marketing agencies and other niches. Right. So you can connect with other agencies that don't maybe particularly do the services that you do. Maybe influencer type things. But 3 hours or 23 hours after the connection request is when we suggest sending a second message. So if you're doing it manually, just kind of have your spreadsheet. It is a bit clunky, but you can do it. And then if they don't respond to that, then maybe do a follow-up message. Excuse me, the results or we're seeing enough is actually just this second message. We're seeing enough appointments coming right here. And then you could do something really soft 3 to 5 days later. I'm going to share my exact messaging as well, not just this sheet, and send you off kind of guessing. But here's a connection request message, and I'll show you what we're doing today. This is messaging to use in your potential second message. Other messaging that you want to use, right, for your first follow-up about a week later if they have not responded. And then there's different styles, right? Do you want to approach this as networking? Do you want to approach it as sales? Or do you want to approach it like maybe you need to do some recruiting? So we'll give you examples in here, and I won't read all this because we'll be on for 30 minutes, but there's the networking approach, and this will give you some examples. So you can kind of read a connection request message if you just kind of want to move into a networking call. The sales approach, if the objectives drive revenue instantly, you just want to get straight to them being a customer because they're a really good niche that you serve. And then, the recruiting approach, finding top performers. So I'll send this out, Michael, to everybody and not spend too much time in it. Any questions?
So I was just throwing some stuff in the chat for those that haven't seen it. I'll just talk about it real quick. Some of you guys have been talking about, hey, can I use this for B2C? And I threw in there, hey, yes, you can. It just might take more volume. They're there, but are they active is the question, right? So B2B is by far definitely the highest use case. So if you are niche and you're going after a B2C market, that doesn't mean that you look at this and go, no, I can't use this then. The way that I would look at it is, who are those centers of influence? And I've hammered on this for years with every single partner in this meetings. You should know what COI is. If you don't, center of influence, these are folks that, aren't going to sign up to become a customer with you, but can become a referral source that brings you 5, 10, 20, 50 customers. And honestly, it's the best way, in my personal opinion, it is the best way to grow your agency. I always talk to folks and they say, oh yeah, it makes sense to go after those folks instead of marketing directly to, the plumbers or the roofers, etc. I'd much rather market to the person who's going to get me those introductions. And the reason I believe it's the best way is, one, it's exponential. right? So you get one and you get now 5, 10, 15 and ongoing. You're just stacking on referral sources that kind of has this exponential growth path. And two, they close a lot better. If you think about messaging a plumber directly, there's no trust. Not yet, right? You got to work your butt off to get that trust. Whereas, let's say you message a supply company, an owner of a supply company, this is B2B again, and you have that conversation, they start referring you, say they're plumbing customers. That comes with a lot of high trust already because you were just recommended to them by their current vendor. So if you're in a B2C market, think about who are the B2B contexts that would make a lot of sense. I threw in a bunch of stuff. So for instance, George, you work with cosmetic and plastic surgeons, med spa owners, everything from like coaches and consultants to recruiting and staffing firms. I'm sorry, not that. I scroll down. Practice management software, patient financing is a big one, right? And patient financing, they want their customers to go out and get more customers, right? Because they want to finance those. Medical equipment suppliers, the training and certification programs, the billing and revenue cycle management companies. So like the medical billing, that's a big industry, right? So if you partner with them, guess what? They want their customer to grow. They want them billing more so they can use their services more. There's a lot of win-win-wins. So think about that perspective. If you have a B2C market, who are the other B2B folks that could provide referrals that would want to provide you referrals because they want their customer to grow? So anyways, off my
No,
soapbox.
and that was no, and a really good thing from that, man. Thank you for sharing that. Like that is what you want to take into Sales Navigator, right? And you can test. So one of the last things I'm going to touch on is you get to send 400 messages on LinkedIn a month. So you can test 50 to this group, 50 to that group, right? See if they're actually taking those quick networking calls where you're having success. But getting those appointments with those potential referral partners is equal as getting an appointment with anybody else. I do have a question, Michael. The person that mentioned B2C, I'm just curious, what's the application? What are they selling to them?
So digital marketing services to B2C businesses. So cosmetic and plastic surgeons, they're targeting consumers. Med spa owners are targeting consumers. The home services industry, they're targeting consumers, right? Are they actually using LinkedIn? Probably not as frequently, right, as all these other B2B folks. So like in the home services industry, again, payment processing, financing solutions, right? Because a lot of these things are high ticket. They need to offer payment plans. So those companies can be great. The wholesale and equipment supply distribution companies, those can be really great because they want their customers to be successful and buy more from them. Coaching companies are a great one too, right? So there's coaching companies for almost every niche out there. Yeah. So there you go.
And then on messaging, guys, there's also messaging is really important, right? Like if you dive into this, I have 2 more books to share. The Ultimate LinkedIn Messaging Guide. So I'll send you the one I have. I'm going to show you the messaging we have solved right now for ourselves. But like this is a great book if you're diving into LinkedIn, just read a little bit of it on the weekend or whenever. Because it's going to give you ideas of like how to message these different niches and industries. But this is it. This is our messaging right now. Hi, it pulls in the first name. I see we have connections in common and you're also local. Would love to connect. Best, Jesse. That's it. We have a 25 to 35%, excuse me, sorry guys, connection request. There's other people, I don't know how or why. They just must like, people just like the way they look on their photo, but they're getting 45% connection rates. Second message, I have it go out 23 hours later. That's what I personally like. Why? Because, my logic is if they open this at a certain time of day, they're likely lurking on LinkedIn around the same time. So I like to send it about a day later. And I just say, hey, Michael, thanks for connecting. I do it really soft. If you think we'd be a good fit for networking, let's have a call in the next couple of weeks. I'm not trying to push it too fast. People do respond the same day. My professional network is mostly business owners and marketing professionals. That way it even makes it easy to talk about marketing. Looking forward to hearing from you. That's it. Super soft, not pushy, gets me into calls meetings, the Panera Bread, phone calls, all sorts of stuff. What I do want to show you is one other thing inside Hummingbird. Somebody asked about, can we see when they were last active on LinkedIn, right? So when you run those searches inside of LinkedIn and you pull it into Hummingbird, one of the AI plugins will actually send it out to the people more likely to accept your connection request. So you'll still have a good connection rate not using Hummingbird, but Hummingbird will start getting you that 25, 35, 40% connection request rate. So it is much higher. You're actually going to be sending to people more likely to connect.
So quite a question. I'm assuming so Hummingbird it's like a automation, like a and I might be simplifying it, but it's like an automation tool for LinkedIn. So when you're reaching out, just streamlining that process so you don't have to do it manually. Is that correct?
Yeah, and I'll spend 5 minutes right now going through those features, but yes, it is.
Okay. I'm curious if you'll touch on this because I'm kind of an anomaly because I had a situation the last year at some point where I got banned from LinkedIn. It was pretty horrific situation. So whenever I talk about it, I'm like, I can't believe that happened. But anyways, I mean, I was using some sort of tool, uh, and it wasn't even through my account. But long story short, you know, um, my account actually got banned, and I wasn't even using. I had a separate account for my home service, agency because I have a full time position, so I had to keep things separate. But so I'm curious, like, how can well, what are your thoughts on that? Have you experienced anything or heard of any stories? Because I have a little bit of a hesitation to, try out any other additional tools now because of just the experience I had, which I know is not common. But curious to kind of get your thoughts on that if you're able to touch on it.
Yeah, a couple months ago, I want to say 3 months ago, LinkedIn did a big update to try to block certain tools. A lot of people were banned. I don't know if that's around the time you were, maybe 2 to 3 months ago, or if it was.
It was longer than that. I think it was like the summertime or something. Yeah.
Yeah, so all of our stuff is compliant with LinkedIn. There is certain automations, but we follow all of their compliance and their rules. We have seen people get their accounts banned where they'll say, fill out this form. Every example that I've personally seen, we've filled out the form. We've even given people the response, right? Like, yeah, we use this tool, and they're literally opened back up within 24 hours with no problem. So that's the experience I've seen. I think there are a lot of fake accounts on LinkedIn and people may be doing some stuff that's, I don't know what you could do nefarious on LinkedIn, but people are doing stuff that they shouldn't be doing, spamming. This is not that. Yeah. Not sure what you did to get banned, but
That was the thing. It was weird because I didn't do anything, and it was really odd, but
did they give you a form to fill out? Like,
they did.
did you fill it out?
I did, and I went through this process. Yeah, I did.
Wow. The ones we've seen, they were all instantly like, or within 24 hours,
They
unblocked.
they did unblock, but it was like after a certain period of time, like a few weeks later, same thing. Like, hey, we're flagging you because of automation. Use of automation is what they said.
Yeah, we
And
do use some automation, but yeah, um, I don't know. There are some tools that are very cavalier. Yeah, that I would not use.
Mm,
Yeah.
okay, thank you.
Yep. And now I guess I'll just jump into a little bit of the hummingbird presentation to show you guys. I'm not going to spend too much time in this. Um, so really what it is, identify your customer, which you don't need Hummingbird for that. That's what we touched on, right? Inside Sales Nav. Creating your campaigns, you could do all of this manually, but if you pull it into Hummingbird, it will automate sending messages for you, sending connection requests for you. I'm going to go over that a little bit. And it's really the whole goal, guys, whether you're using Hummingbird or using LinkedIn Direct, is to get more conversations started, to get more appointments booked. And here's the numbers. So we have the numbers without Hummingbird and we have the numbers with Hummingbird, what you can kind of expect. And we're going to update it because these numbers are actually a tad bit higher. You can send 400 LinkedIn connection requests per month. So this is per LinkedIn, not per us, not by us. And we do about 25 a day because since there's not 100% exception rate, we've seen we're able to push 25. And we start doing that on accounts that have been sending 20 a day, 5 days a week for a couple months. Then we'll push it up to 22, 23, 25, and they work fine. When you're sending 400, like it was mentioned earlier, how do we know how active they are on LinkedIn? You don't, but you're still going to see at least 60 connections a month from doing it manually. Using Hummingbird, because we're sending to people that are more active, you're going to see about 100 to 125. And we're seeing closer to 140. I like to put, you're going to spend 15 minutes a week on automated messaging. It's probably lower than that, but I just really like to encourage people, keep looking at your messaging, right? Like this is your business. You want to get into more conversations with ideal prospects. Then there's the warm conversations. If you're doing it manually, you should still see 10 warm conversations a month. With Hummingbird, we're seeing about 30 to 40. And you will book 1 to 2. I would say manually now it's probably 2 to 4. You should see a meeting without Hummingbird, doing it manually 2 to 4 a month. With Hummingbird 6 to 12, you guys will probably see 2, 3, 4 in our particular industry. Result wise with Hummingbird, you'll see a 20% connection rate, like right out the gate within the first 3 weeks. You'll start seeing replies within 3 weeks. And most people already starting to see appointments being booked in week 1. But there is a little bit of a ramp up phase. And then just pricing. This is our pricing for month to month. You guys can kind of ignore it. This is our regular pricing. I chatted with Michael. Anybody's that is that company. Do the less than the annual pricing. You get it for $249, but it's month to month if you guys wanted to try it, and waived setup. I would highly suggest if you're going to try it, mentally commit to 2 to 3 months at least, right? Because the first month's a little bit of a ramp up. And then you can kind of go from there if you want to go long. And that's it. Any questions? Oh, last thing. This is just a book I like. I have 4 sons, 13 to 25. I've even had them read this. I'm sure you read it. The Compound Effect. Whether you're doing it manually or you're using LinkedIn, like this is an absolutely amazing book. Like after you read it, you feel like you could like go build a pyramid because you just do everything step by step. So like whatever marketing thing you're applying, I really like The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. I'm all down,
Excellent.
man.
Excellent. Well, Jesse, thank you so much for coming out and hanging out with us and sharing value. For those of you that are interested, where can they contact you?
Oh yeah, go to our website, hummingbird.software. So don't go to .com, go to hummingbird.software and just book a demo. And because I would still like to take you through like a traditional demo, chat with you more about your niche. So yeah, definitely just go book a demo if you're interested.
All right. I'm going to throw that into the chat for everybody. Hummingbird.software. And then, yes, as that company partner, talk with Jesse about giving you guys a special deal. And yeah, it's $249 a month without a commitment. So, but yes, definitely, if you're going to do it, you're going to want to mentally commit for a couple of months. You're not going to, see it in just month 1, right? So, well, Jesse, thank you so much. Do we have any extra questions for Jesse about LinkedIn, how to be successful, whether you use the software or not? He's here to make sure that you get the greatest impact out of your LinkedIn efforts. So we have about 11 more minutes if we want to pick his brain at all. All right. We feeling all comfy then?
Thank you guys. I hope that was valuable. Hope that was helpful.
Okay, I'm sorry. My mic was turned off and I was trying to figure out how to get it back on. I'm sorry.
No worries, Ty.
Yeah, may I ask a question?
Go for it.
Okay, so Jesse, I am really just getting started on LinkedIn. I'm embarrassed to say that among this group of LinkedIn veterans, most likely. And I am really just kind of like, using the network that I have right now, and I'm starting to post, I'm starting to blog, I'm starting to use AI to help me with some of that stuff. But is there just any like general advice that you can give someone who's starting out on LinkedIn that that could be helpful for me moving forward to set a good foundation?
How many connections do you have so far, Ty?
300 and something.
Yeah, see, that's good, man. I wouldn't even, I would say that's beyond beginner. This little testimonial right here on the page is an insurance agent. He didn't even have LinkedIn. So it was, it was pretty painful. I helped him through getting his first connection, and
Uh,
um, insurance agents just love activity and conversation. So you're doing really well. There's a lot of people out there that are really good at, um, like the branding of your LinkedIn, right? Having an image, having a good description. If you jump into booking a demo, I mean, we could even just chat, if that would be helpful for you. You don't have to sign up,
sure.
but I can go through that in more detail with you, like my personal profile, the picture I use. It's kind of localized, my description, why I use it. Um, but I would put a little bit of time into that, because every time you post, every time you like, every time you comment, they're going to see you, and they're going to see the beginning of your description. Right, so you're essentially getting free advertising,
Mm,
and it's really just, in my opinion, we wanna get results, right? We wanna have conversations. So my advice to you would be target the best you can to get into those networking calls, booking calls with people, right? "Hey, man, let's have a 10-minute call. Let's see if we can network if you're interested." And the people that are interested in networking are gonna network with you.
mhm.
So I like the success has really come to just that simple. There's great branding people. I think they charge like 10 grand and they help you with your branding and right how to post and how to do this, and you can really elevate it. That's not right. That's not me. That's not Hummingbird, but you can keep elevating your LinkedIn.
Mhm.
I hope that helps.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it makes me feel better. Thank you.
Cool.
Perfect.
Hey,
Or was
another question. Sorry, lots of questions today.
good.
But so curious, Jesse. I have a like a full time position, but I'm also trying to build up this agency. At the same time, so I have to be a bit mindful of kind of how I approach it. So on my LinkedIn, um, I have my full time job stuff kind of listed, optimize the profile. And I try to make it a little bit more general about like lead generation, but any thoughts on or suggestions of how to approach like a LinkedIn profile where you're trying to navigate kind of this type of situation?
Yeah, I mean, y- you know, I would say, I mean, this is just my opinion, right? Don't overthink it. Pretend you're in a conversation with somebody at a networking event where you were able to make it. What would you say to them in person, right? You would say, "Oh, hey, I can only meet Friday at noon." So I would just kind of not stress it, and then just book people into that initial call within your schedule, because that's really what we want. We want activity, we want a conversation, right? And then just fit that meeting within your schedule. I don't mean to oversimplify it, but I hope that was helpful, and
I know.
I answer your question.
Yeah, I actually meant like in regards to your actual profile itself, right? Like if people are gonna kind of check out your profile, right? They want to see, okay, what's this person about? My background is marketing, which that helps, so I can kind of generalize what I'm putting in my profile. But at the same time, if they look at my experience, I don't list my agency on there. It's my full-time position. So I was just wondering if you had any thoughts around more so like optimizing the profile.
Yeah, I mean, that is definitely strategy. Um, that's interesting. Because, there are some people that, right, they don't even accept connection requests from marketers. So it could be a good thing, Like you could blow all of us out of the water because you don't have that listed. And then when you're in conversations with them, right, you let them know that you have a second business. So it could work to your advantage, but I don't know. Um, yeah, I mean, if you want book a demo, I'd be happy to chat with you more about it. It's definitely like a strategy branding question. That's tough. That's a good question though.
Sure. Thank you.
And I know that some folks have like set up a second LinkedIn profile so they could feel a little more free to, hey, this is one for, my job and this one's related to my side gig. But, that's kind of a very personal choice. And obviously you're starting over, if you will, and you don't have any connections on that profile. But always
It's tricky, Mike. I did that actually. I did that, and that's the account that although that was using AI like automation,
yeah.
I flagged my account.
Oh,
Oh yeah, you're not
There was this
supposed to have to. Yeah.
so anyway, I don't use it anymore, but that's what I'm saying. How can I reach people through my main profile account, but kind of navigate this tricky situation? But I'll probably book a demo. So thank you, Jesse.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't have a better. I can just give you my opinion right now.
Thank you. Quick question. So my personal LinkedIn is pretty dialed in, and I've got about 8,000 something followers. But my business LinkedIn has 40. Where should I launch from?
What's that? A couple people have more than one LinkedIn here. What?
the LinkedIn profile versus his LinkedIn page for his business is the
Your-
difference.
Yeah, my personal profile, and then my business has a profile.
Oh, got it. Okay. Yeah, your personal. I would say by far your personal.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's what's going to get you activity, meetings, right? Like nobody books a meeting with Hummingbird, right? They want to chat with me, right, or somebody.
That makes sense. And is a relief.
Yeah. Yeah, I even forget that I have a business page on LinkedIn.
I'm also curious because, I'm trying a lot of things right now. I've been blessed that for the last 5 years, I've kind of had a steady stream of referrals and some bigger clients. But some of that business went away when one of the bigger clients purchased a digital marketing agency.
Mm.
So in a hurry, I lost quite a bit of business, and so I'm trying a bunch of stuff I've never tried. So I'm looking into the networking, like with BNI, but now I'm looking into this, information. I'm like, where should I put my resources? Should I put my resources into the in-person networking? It looks attractive, but this sounds attractive as well.
It's essentially the same thing. You're very likely going to get a lot more activity and conversations from LinkedIn, right? You could reach a lot more people.
All right.
In person is still phenomenal, but there's right drive time, meals, and I'm not talking against it. I think those are great to go to. Should go to them if you can. Trade shows, right? Chamber meetings. But this is just more easily scalable, and it could still be local. And you start getting those introductions and potential referrals. And a lot of people will say, "Hey, I need help with that too."
Yeah, because like all the chambers and all that, you're already looking at a few $1,000s.
And a lot of those when you go into a BNI or a chamber, and again, not like it's just a challenge. It just is what it is. Like it takes a minute because there could have been a previous marketing person there that has already done business with people, right? Or one maybe that didn't do the greatest job, so it's going to take a little bit longer,
But
and that's okay. But we all want to move a little bit faster, I think.
yes,
And let me actually add to this conversation real quick. I don't see it as an either or. Like if you're doing in-person networking, like this should also be a part of that. Like you should be going home, getting in front of the computer, adding those people, connecting with them, continuing the conversation, right? Um, in fact, for everybody that's having sales calls with our team, after every single sales call, you should be opening up their LinkedIn and connecting with them and, maintaining that connection. Um, that's only going to adds
And
to the conversation, adds to the value that we're delivering in the sales process so it can lead to a close. Right.
this is my demo account. I should have shared this, Michael. It triggered when you were talking right now. Like this works, right? this is just one of my, I have a couple demo accounts connected to the same one, but hey, Jesse, thank you for connecting. What industries are mostly in your network? What are your ideas for networking? Do you have a calendar link to book, a time? Had a meeting here, call here. Panera Bread meeting. Great conversation. They want to network.
You're not sharing your screen anymore if you're trying to. I just wanted to clarify.
Oh man,
We're hearing you say it all. We're not seeing it though.
why aren't you seeing it?
I see it.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's me now.
Man, why are you yelling at me, Michael?
It's me. I'm just gonna leave now. You're just gonna hit the end meeting for everyone. Oh, never mind.
Thank you. So, sounds great. Excuse me, guys. Sorry for this cough. Thank you, Jesse. Rancho Cucamonga means we're both local, with the win. So it's just personal. We had a lot of wins, right? Happy to connect. Thanks for connecting as well. I'm a therapist. Sounds great. Like, I do get some that don't want to, guys. This is the most recent. And if you look, like, this is January 8th, 12th. This conversation started on the 23rd, 2nd, 5th, 13th. Like, they come in. This I'll show you real quick too. All the conversations are done within Hummingbird. So you can actually grab quick responses and just say, this is a response I like to use, and then customize it. You can use AI, like, you know what, I'm going to close off this conversation nicely. You can have it write it. All their info gets pulled in. So if their phone number and email are on LinkedIn, it'll pull it in here for you. You can mark as booked meetings, so you could actually track how many meetings you're booking. You could type notes. You could schedule messages if they say, hey, I'm on vacation till January 3rd. I don't mean to feature bomb you guys, but there's just a bunch of little stuff in here. Then if you have someone that you're like, man, this looks really good, you can click view personalized insights, and it'll actually pull up only from their LinkedIn, right? Like it's just their, based on their conversation, their profile, what they're saying, it'll tell you what type of personality they are. If they like direct, if they, if they're a talker, they're a thinker. So do's, provide facts. So this might help you a little bit to get a feel for them, if you wanted to. But this is kind of what you'll see. And guys, again, you could even just use your first month on LinkedIn and your first month of free sales nav to just roll up your sleeves, right? And grind and see how it goes. Prove it to yourself a little bit. And then, maybe look at a service like Hummingbird.
All right, y'all. I think that is it for today. If you want to hang out with Jesse, definitely go to hummingbird.software, book a demo, learn more. But I hope you got a lot of value from today, Jesse. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. Have a great one, y'all. Have a good evening.
Bye.